What's up, everybody? Welcome to another night of matches here at the Legacy Showdown League. I'm joined by Youper tonight. How you
How's it
doing?
going, everybody? Doing pretty good.
That's a pretty special night. We got DC versus Vancouver. Yeah, I'm excited to see this. I mean, the first time I've seen these teams, so I'm pretty excited to cast. Obviously, started casting a few days ago with you guys, and yeah, it's been really interesting seeing how a lot of these newer teams are starting to unfold and starting to kind of show themselves a little bit better.
And it's only day 3, right?
Yep, it's only day 3. Day 3.
Perfect.
Yep. Yeah, day 3, good stuff. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and take over. I got the map rotation here. We're going to go ahead and swap on over to the map rotation. Obviously, a hardpoint search and destroy overlord, hardpoint search. But we're going to have Scar, Exposure, Den. So everyone's favorite new map, Den, showing up in full force tonight. It's my favorite map as well. I'm super excited to see that. Gotta love Den.
Never go wrong with the triple header.
Yeah, I know. And I'll be curious to see if we do get that far, what the difference will be like at the start of the series versus the end of the series. Because Overload, Search, and Hardpoint all play, I think, very different from each other. I like having... I like Overload a little bit more than what I liked Control. I like the moving objective on the map, and I think Den's a great balanced map for that.
I would agree. I mean, I was kind of skeptical hearing like when they announced that Overload was going to take over Control, but so far, I haven't really had a lot of complaints. It's definitely been kind of a little bit of a breath of fresh air, I guess you could say, when it comes to Overload, but I think out of all the maps so far, though, I would have to say that Den is probably one of my favorites. I know that one that can get really mixy, at least for Search and Destroy that I've noticed, is Scar. So it's going to be nice to see that Exposure on there, see what these two teams have to offer.
Yeah, no, with the Exposure on Search and Destroy, it's a very wide open map. I think it favors the AR quite a bit.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, I mean, those lanes are wide open. I'm surprised Slasher didn't stay throughout the rest of this year in the CDL because that's like ideal for a player like that. So I'm pretty hyped. I'm pretty hyped to watch and see kind of like how the subs start to cut the map and start to cut the flow of the game. That's super important, right? Your AR is supposed to be looking over those players and kind of just giving directions and giving cover fire. And honestly, Scar's pretty similar to Exposure in that way. Scar, you have a pretty deep lane on that P3 side, and you have like the hotel's pretty open and exposed as well. And then when you're up top hotel, you get basically you can see everything from either green or blue.
Yeah, it's literally just the perfect place to be a human turret. You know what I mean? Like, especially on Scar, that entire open part of the map is just an absolute death trap. It's like it kind of reminds me in the way if you guys remember from Black Ops 1 way back in the day, I can't remember if it was called Berlin Wall, but it was basically a map that was like about the Berlin Wall, where if you try to go in between the two walls, that it could just be an open season on anybody that crosses it, and that the middle part of Scar kind of gives me that vibe, and it's kind of brings back a little bit of nostalgia from that map.
Yeah, I'm definitely curious to see how players start to play that. Do you have a favorite map in this game yet? Have you got a lot of chance to play the game?
Well, I haven't had a lot of a chance to play it much. I've mainly just been waiting for ranked more than anything, but out of the competitive rotation, one map that kind of has been like back and forth a little bit that I honestly kind of like in a way, at least for Search and Destroy, is or I don't know if it was a Search and Destroy map, but at one point, but I did play it for Search, is Blackheart.
Okay.
I think is the name, but otherwise, I think overall, just in general, for all three modes, or just hardpoint search, just in general, Den. Like, Den is such a vibe. I really enjoy it, and, it can get crazy real quick. Like, even just in my personal casting so far, I've had games where it was so mixy on Den that it was like 250 to 249. I've had a couple of those. I've had a 250 to 230. So it's honestly just, it can go either way. And, so I'm really excited to see what these two rosters have, because this is actually my very first cast inside of the Legacy Showdown. So I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a banger.
Yeah, you're going to have a really good time. We're just kind of waiting for one team to pop in and waiting for a lobby code, and then we'll be able to get this ball rolling. But yeah, I really enjoyed Den. I like the close quarters of it. I like the balance feel of it. I honestly, that's head glitch central, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you have the headies over on Dojo side, and then when you push into that P2 for the hard point, it's just, are you using the top middle jump heady? Are you laying down on like this weird off corner? There's a lot of angles that you have to look and check, and that comes into play a lot for the overload, kind of where players are hiding on this defense. Overload, I really like as a game type this year. I really like the strategy from it. I'm just very excited to have an objective that moves again. I think it's been a while since we haven't had an objective that moves, since Black Ops 4.
Since the days of Uplink. Well, technically speaking, I think control has been a thing for sure for all of like the CDL era.
Right.
But I think Black Ops 4, I think it might have been. Otherwise, it would be World War II, because World War II at one point had I think they called it Gridiron, which was basically just a strictly boots on the ground version of Uplink, and
Well, they also
that was a
capture
lot
the
of fun.
flag.
Oh yeah, and Capture the Flag. Yeah, that's right too. Yeah, I forgot about that. Cause I think Capture the Flag died in BO4 when it came out. So
Yeah, I definitely miss game modes like Capture the Flag, but this is a good sample of something like that, right? Seeing how teams kind of, I like the concept of a static spawn. I have a lot of background in Halo as well, and so there's a lot of game modes that have that static spawn. And so it's like, it's really nice to see how like that offense defense line moves forward and backwards. I think there's a really cool dynamic there that you don't get in necessarily like a hard point. You don't have like a true middle map. So it's nice to have like a true mid.
Yeah, even with Control, it didn't work like that either, where you had that true mid, because even if you were spawning on, you always spawned on the same side of the map for the most part, but, with Control, you could still kind of get out of spawn, but definitely with Overload, though, what I like is what you mentioned, where you have that true neutral middle, but at the same time, if you get your things if you get hot and you get the kills in the right spots at the right times, you can just start that blender just like Control, where you can start getting spawn kill after spawn kill, at least, be able to secure the objective, or the EMP device, blow up a point maybe 1 or 2 times, or, and also because it changes where it spawns too, for the most part, that you can just get 1, 2, 3, 4, EMP explosions back to back to back. So it's not just securing an area, but it's more like you actually have to play together. I guess like the closest thing I could think of to Overload to put into Halo terms, it's almost like Griffball in a sense. I think that's what it's called, right?
Yeah, Griffball. Yeah, they also, a lot of people don't remember this, but they had a game mode called Ricochet back in Halo 2 Anniversary, and it was so good. I think I know this is a COD stream. However, I loved that game. I think that game is the most underrated Halo game, honestly. A lot of people, when the launch came out, it was obviously shocked, but yeah, no, I miss good Halo
nostalgia.
But I think we have good COD now as well. I mean, I think the community consensus is we've had a rough few years. I've had fun the whole time, just because I don't care about a lot of the stuff that people care about when it comes to COD. But I think overall this year feels like the most whole and complete competitive COD that we've had in a while. And honestly, I've been playing a lot of pubs because I've been simply enjoying it.
There you go. I've just been grinding Total War Rome 2 and Mass Effect Legendary Edition.
Oh, wow.
I've just been on, because, being a dad, like right now my son's asleep, but, being a dad sometimes, it's kind of why I got the old like headphone on one ear kind of thing. But those single player games have kind of been a vibe recently for me. But if I play pubs, the only problem is for me, because I predominantly come from like the good old days of like, MW2, Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, where you troll people, shotguns, knives, like claymores. I'm one of those guys. I'm a huge troll. So it's only recently that I started to get into like more actually playing competitive and all that. So I'm kind of not to go on pubs, because now lobbies stick together. And I just don't want to get yelled at by 14-year-olds recently. So I've just been vibing. I'll wait till rank comes out, then I can grind that like crazy.
Yeah, no, those trolling lobbies, man. I've been getting a lot of sniper. I mean, obviously the sniper has been pretty crazy this year. I've been getting into a lot of sniper lobbies lately, and those have been kind of fun because when everybody pulls it out, you kind of feel an obligation. You're like, I'm gonna whip it out too.
Exactly.
But it looks like we're finally starting to get players into this lobby, which is awesome.
Slowly but surely we're getting there, folks. Appreciate you for the patience.
Yeah, dude, we're just gonna have a good old yap session. You guys, that's why you guys are here, right? Just for us to listen to us yap.
Exactly. It's like a mini podcast.
But yeah, man, I want to get, dude. I feel like this game is really watchable too. It's pretty easy to understand, as far as like the strategy and competitive, because I feel like there's been a couple of years where you see a lot of randomness and stuff, and every now and then you'll get a sticky spawn. Yeah, but I feel like this year is really easy to digest, even for like newer viewers.
I would agree with that.
I think the only thing I would like to see out of this year is like calming down on the GAs, from like a viewer standpoint.
Yes.
I'm always going to be on the side of, if the game's easier to understand, more people will watch it and more people will appreciate it. And I feel like we're starting to get to that point where sometimes the game is not easy to understand because of that. So, like, why aren't they doing certain things? Like the muzzle with the ARs, man. The driving's so good. Let me run a muzzle, dude.
Or like, you can only have a sniper for 2 or 3 lives before you got to give it, like, just when you make things more complicated than they need to be, like what you said, it's kind of like, I ain't buying it. Like, that's why I know that this is a Call of Duty stream, like we mentioned, but that's one of the main reasons why CS, in general, Counter-Strike is considered one of the largest and most watched, most viewed esports in the world, is because at the end of the day, they don't ban much of anything. They mostly ban maps and all that, but it's just a simple game. So it's like, the more simple you make it, the more you can get into it. But I totally get GAs for certain guns, though. Like, if you were to try to whip out a shotgun on main stage of any kind, like, I feel like that's just an automatic, you're just disavowed. As much as I love shotguns, like, I feel like that would be so rage-inducing. You'd have straight-up brawls on main, dude.
I mean, if we go back, we got to go back and look at Ghost, right? People remember that Bulldog.
Oh my God, the Bulldog. Dude,
honestly, I love it. And then also that year he had Killer running the LMG with a thermal sight on it, just popping smokes in a hard point.
Crazy.
In a dom.
Absolute craziness, dude.
Honestly, man. I went to a LAN back in AW, and they didn't ban smokes in respawn. So I had two bow classes. I had obviously my open sight bow, but then I had a smoke thermal bow class that would I also ran cold-blooded on, and I would just troll people on, I would just troll. I went to a LAN to troll. It was like the perfect strategy because our whole team had cold-blooded, so even when they swapped to a thermal, they got rid of cold-blooded. I forget I forgot what cold-blooded swapped for. I think it was in that game, I want to say it was flak jacket. So once we noticed they swapped to cold-blooded, I stopped running smokes and put back on flag jacket, and we just started nading instead. Because we would do is we would toss a smoke, and then they would all hop in the smoke thinking they had cold-blooded, because they all had cold-blooded on, but we didn't care anymore. We just started tossing Semtex.
Get him where it hurts, man. No, 100%, dude. Like, it's kind of crazy how, Call of Duty also, too, at its core, it's such an ever-evolving game that, even though Slasher just recently announced that he retired, like, he may not have been considered, like, a lot of people consider like Scumpy and, freaking, Octane, freaking Crim6, like all these guys that are goats, right? And Slasher, the fact that he went from as long as he did, that's impressive. So like with how everything changes, like I can only imagine how hard it might have been for people with the boost jumping stuff. Like I know for me, even back then, I was just in my early 20s and I couldn't compete if I was a competitive player, that's for sure.
Yeah, no, I don't know. It's crazy. I like the advanced movement stuff. It's just, I don't know. It's just like all about adaptability, right?
Yeah, 100%.
And I think players on that level, I think it becomes, how do I want to put this? I think it becomes less about like if they can adapt or not versus like whether they want to take the time to adapt or not. And I feel like Slasher is probably battling against just like these movement kings essentially, right? A player like that's an old head that's stuck around for that long, and now Dashy being 27, the oldest player in the league, which is crazy to say because as somebody that's been watching competitive COD for forever,
That is crazy.
Yeah, I just in my head, Dashy is still such a new player. But I guess now when I look at who's playing, I mean, TJ technically entered the league earlier. So you still have TJ, has a longer run in Call of Duty, and I think Hook had like a debut before Call of Duty went to 18. But yeah, it's just wild to kind of see who's filter in and out.
Well, yeah, like I still remember Simp when he was considered a rookie in BO4. At least for the pro side, because I know he did not challengers, but like he did the amateur stuff back then. But like I remember getting hyped up watching Simp snipe on Search and Destroy a lot of the times, and now like that was what 6 to 8 years ago now that and dude's wifed up and everything. So yeah, it's really kind of crazy to think about how just time flies, that we're technically now in the 6th year of the CDL. Like the CWL hasn't been a thing for close to 6 years now. So it's like, holy mackerel, time flies when you're having fun. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's wild. It's wild how it just never starts. It 1 second, I was in the lobby and it kicked me out.
W production.
Holy cannoli, man.
That's one thing I will say, that if there's one thing that I would love for whoever with Call of Duty, whether it's Treyarch, Infinity Ward, Activision themselves, if please, and this is directly to the game makers, please make the private lobbies more stable and let us have a solid codcaster. I've been saying this for 2 years and it drives me, like, especially the in-game stuff. Oh my goodness, dude. The amount of hoops and tricks that you got to do sometimes to get these lobbies to stick, it definitely makes you go crazy. So I don't know how they do it on the CDL level, but man, makes you just want to punch your monitor some days.
All right, they got me back in the lobby.
There we go.
That's the big one. Oh, and I think we're getting into the game. That's an even better one.
That's an even bigger dub.
That is a bigger dub. Vancouver versus DC, loading up on Scar.
Be sure to, everybody, whether you're here for DC or if you're here for Vancouver, be sure to hype yourselves up in the chat. Hype up these two rosters, these two organizations, all the players, the whole 9 yards, because these guys are going to be going balls to the wall, man. So if you're a fan of Vancouver or DC, show your love in the chat.
Game winding down. Oh my gosh, I actually got the teams right. Let's go, dude.
Hey,
map number 1 has started. Hardpoint on Scar. We're going to hop on board with TJ, the most recognizable name, but not in the CDL. Not going to get first blood, however, is going to get the trade on Nino. Click her up to pick up TJ as well. I mean, what do you want to see from this first set of rotations from these players? Are you wanting to see some like deep rotations? I think P1's super easy to grab time on. Maybe I might be faded for saying that, but
the biggest thing is that, just like a lot of hardpoint maps where you start off on a map like this where everybody's in the middle, is that it's really just a rotational game. Like, so you want to get that anchor position and set up for P2. So right now, watching Clay, you can see right now it looks like he's just trying to find somebody in the back. You have Brada up on top as well. So Clay, like I said, he's going to be playing for that P2, trying to go and catch some people in the middle. But like I said, just the biggest thing for your ARs is to watch those lanes, become a human turret, but also aim for those spawns, because if things go south, and your SMGs are on hill and you get taken down, it's a lot easier to recover than if you have to completely flip back, you know what I mean? And so right now looks like it's going to be the side of Vancouver trying to get into this P2, but not really able to get much as Treason, DC, locking it down.
Yeah, DC doing a pretty good job here, rotating over for P2. I mean, it's still a really close game, and you can contest this point pretty well. I actually prefer to hold this on blue side. I feel like you can see so much from blue. So if they take the point, they have a not as good time hiding behind the walls. For some reason, I having just a better time getting up to top hotel on this P2 from blue side. But I know a lot of people like to hold this green side because they rotate over towards this P3, and we're starting to see that now. So a little bit of a lead here from DC Treason as we go into the P3. Yeah, this P3 is going to be very similar to P1. You can kind of hold it from either side. It's really just who's crouched behind that rock and who has a trophy up.
Yeah, you know, this P3 here is where the ARs really need to come out to play. Like your SMGs take down the people that get a little bit too close, and your ARs are the ones that are locking down the back spawn and locking it down over on rock on that heady where TJ is right now, like where Fade is, you know. So it's definitely all DC Treason though in these last two hills as the ARs are starting to get up in a good position. But you could take a look though on the mini-map number 4 on the flank, finds one but is looking for some more, gets another one. So Buckshot with that SMG in hand, able to open up just a little bit to get things going potentially for Vancouver. So we're gonna see what they can do, but still 60-point deficit and climbing if you are Vancouver Skyline. Definitely something needs to start happening, and now sooner rather than later before you find yourself at a potential even 100-point mark.
Yeah, trying to come back on hardpoint, especially on a map like this. I feel like you have 2, sometimes maybe 3 money hills on this hardpoint, so going into a deficit is not fun. However, that does allow you to make quite a bit of a comeback. So I think there is margin for error a little bit on this map, but you don't want to let it get too far away from you, you know what I mean? Because then that trickles into your mentality going into the game, like how your teammates are communicating. Like if you're starting to get frustrated on this game 1 hardpoint, like you're going to have a rough series.
Yeah, 100%, and that's the thing too, is, and I even preach it to my own players and rosters in my own organization, is that, you know, it's all about mental. And just like regular sports, it's all about your mental. So, you know, starting off on a good note, where Treason is right now, if they're able to continue this climb, being able to shut down Vancouver, it's really going to be beneficial for them going into that map too. But you can see those Vancouver starting to come back just a little bit here, going into the next hill. Gonna be over, and I think it's hotel if I remember correctly. I'm still kind of learning callouts, but if you look at the bottom left of your screen on that mini map, you can see number 7 Fade is going to be rotated up. You have another guy in the back building, one looking over P3. You know, I think the name is going to be here. Gets one, but gets taken down. So still very much in the hands of DC Treason being in the driver's seat. So we're going to see as we finish out the 40 seconds here on this last hill, as we go into a new set of rotations, what Skyline's going to be able to do. You know, Vancouver going to try to rotate, get something going. I don't know, but they got to do it quick because this deficit's getting huge.
Yeah, the deficit is getting big, and I really like this play from Fade. Fade was on the point, recognized where their teammates were, realizes that, hey, these green side spawns are really sticky. And what they did is, for the majority of that hill, they actually played in the back and were able to pick up a couple of kills, get the cutoffs, but most importantly, make sure that that sticky spawn is in their favor, because you have to hard block this green spawn. I've seen so many games and so many times where that green spawn is not hard blocked, and then people will complain about it being bad spawns. No, it happens in every single game. There's always a hard point that has sticky spawns, and that was the hard point in this game that had that. So really good plays there by Fade. I really enjoyed watching that. Was able to get one with the streak as well. So Fade staying alive for a long time, getting streaks, has over 1 minute and 20 in the point as well, looking very, very good.
Yeah, and it's kind of a little bit unorthodox too. Like if you actually see Nino right now, currently doesn't even have a single second on time. Just kind of running around, causing problems. These ARs kind of playing objectives a little bit. I guess you could say backwards. At least traditionally, your SMGs usually play hill. Maybe ARs play hill every once in a while, but AG just locking it down. Like I said, the two members of DC Treason, Fade and AG, with those ARs in hand, causing so many problems. I mean, Vancouver Skyline, right now, it is just bad news bears all over for the side of Vancouver. So hopefully in this P2, now that they're starting to get set up a little bit, they're able to stabilize and really hold on to that little back over, you know, kind of where Buckshot is, right across from where he's at right now, like underneath the balcony. That's a huge power spot, especially for an AR. So we're gonna see what they can do, but Buckshot just trying to stay alive as long as he can. This is like a 300 style hold.
Yeah, no, Buckshot's in a really good position here to try to make up the lead, but the wall bang coming through. 4 dead now.
That was a nasty wall
for
bang.
Vancouver. Yeah, that was a very nasty wall bang. But good job looking at the minimap, knowing exactly where that player is lying down, for hopping on board with Nino. Nino going to be on top of this P2 side, on top of the balcony. Was able to take out 2 before falling and allowing space for your teammates to kind of get pushed on out. However, it is going to be Vancouver that is going to be pre-rotated for this P3.
Great trigger discipline.
Yeah, Fade doing a really good job recognizing that they might not have the advantage in that gunfight. Going to opt to get some info. Uses that info that he received from that player mid-cut. Able to take them out and is going to get a hold of top green.
Yeah, no, that was a huge play there by Fade, being able to get the information that DC Treason needed to be able to succeed. And you can see AG cutting up middle, going over by Tank, going by P1, pushing up just a little bit. But right now, huge gunfights in favor of DC Treason, and Vancouver Skyline dangerously getting closer and closer to a 100-point club. And, you know, we were talking about mental earlier, and this is not where you want to be if you want to try to get into this map too with a good mental. But right now, it is just nothing but DC Treason in the driver's seat. Man, what a beatdown.
Yeah, they're looking super good right now. I mean, 242 to 93. I think this is going to be the 100-point club, especially if Nino can hold off this little onslaught of players right there. Only able to pick up 1. Maybe looking to tick over at 100, but with only 2 seconds of time needed left. Yeah, that's going to end our map number 1 in favor of DC. DC looking very solid in the hard point right now.
Oh, yeah. You know, definitely in terms of objective. Now, obviously, like we were talking about before, you know, hard point to search and destroy to even overload, it's a completely different philosophy that you have to have for each individual game mode. So definitely, if you're Vancouver Skyline, you're basically in one of 2 positions when you go into this map 2 on exposure, is that you're either going to get your mental locked in, play slow, play for trades, play together, or you're just going to run around like your chickens with your head cut off, and that's just not ideal for anybody.
Yeah, that's not a fun game, number 1. That's not something that you want to see. Only really maps in the teens, but we're going to head back over to us. They're going to go ahead and swap lobbies. Yeah, no, that was not a fun map, number 1. If you're Vancouver, DC doing a really good job, just kind of holding it down, playing to their map strength, rotating really early. Yeah, that was just a hard game 1, right? So what you just got to kind of wipe that from your memory, right? Just playing for this next map. I think you just got to take it map by map. You got to have a healthy outlook on it, and just one map at a time.
No, 100%. Well, it's like what they always say too: search and destroy wins game or wins series, right? So, you know, those maps for 2 and 5. You know, as long as you're able to at least get 1 objective, if it does go down to a game 5, you know, that's perfectly okay. But just, you know, you got to take everything, you know, map by map. And Call of Duty is such a circumstantial game too that it could just be that DC Treason is just extremely red fire hot, but Vancouver Skyline is just a little bit sluggish right now, kind of like kind of put it in sports terms, because I'm a big football guy. You know, it's like a high school football team that has to travel 2 hours to go to a game. It's like, are you coming off that bus hot, or are you coming off the bus cold? And right now it seems like Vancouver Skyline's coming off the bus cold. But you got that warm-up match, so now they're either going to persevere and keep her moving, or they're just going to get absolutely destroyed in this map too. But we're going to find out here momentarily as we get everything all situated. But I would definitely say, as of right now, even though it's just day 3, I could 100%, I think it's honestly in contention, I'm just saying, DC, with how strong they're looking, could easily be projected to be a top 3 team in the Legacy Showdown. I don't know what you think, but I think that's pretty solid here today. Just seeing that map 1.
Yeah, especially if they're doing something like that in the map 1 without Nino getting any seconds of time. I think,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? I mean, not everybody had to chip into the point. And I'm not saying Nino didn't do anything on the map. Maybe they were taking up a lot of space, but that's very unorthodox, as you said earlier, just because you want to see everybody kind of share that load. And if they don't feel like they have to share it to get the win, then it's going to be a tough series.
Oh yeah. And like I said too, those ARs, they're just popping off, man. Like they were finding the really good positions on every single hill, and either one AR was in hill, one AR was anchoring, they were flip-flopping, the SMGs were just going crazy. Like for a while there, Nino from the side of DC Treason, homie didn't even have a single hill like second. He didn't even touch hill. He didn't even kiss it. He's just running around slaying people left and right, causing a bunch of mayhem behind the enemy lines of Vancouver Skyline. So it's definitely, you want to talk about a textbook way to start off a series in your favor, both mentally and just score wise. That was chef's kiss, mwah, beautiful. That was really good.
Yeah, it was super solid, super nice. I'll be curious to see how they slow down the play in the search and destroy. Search and destroy, I mean, it's not a respawn, right? You are going to play a little slower. There's going to be moments where you're going to feel like you're doing nothing on the map. So I'll be curious to see if they let the anxiousness get to them. There's always seems to be a player on every team that really just wants to break through that wall and just kind of hit and just get the kills as fast as they possibly can.
No, absolutely. And that's the thing too, is that when it comes to the idea of search and destroy, especially on exposure, you have a lot of potential areas that ARs like to play. And if you find yourself trying to rush a little too quick, then you can get put on your butt. But at the same time, if you go too slow, then all of a sudden the SMGs from the other side are on you. And if you get your gunny right the right way and you're firing like crazy, then, it's just not good in any way, shape, or form. So you kind of have to have the combination of being able to move quickly, but also be efficient with the way that you're doing and play off of each other for trades. Because that's the problem with a lot of times with teams, especially at the amateur level, even at the professional level too with CDL. You see teams that just players sometimes go rogue, and all of a sudden you find yourself down 4-2 before you even realize it. So got to be a little bit methodical about your approach, that's for sure, when it comes to search.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to be going over to the exposure now for this map. I'm super, super excited to see what exposure plays like. I mean, we saw the ARs pretty locked in on that last map. I'll be curious to see how they play on this one as well. And what are you looking for out of the Scar? Are you honestly, the ARs are going to be super entertaining, right? But I'm looking to see how the subs kind of rat in to position.
Yeah, both sides, obviously the subs of DC Treason were a little bit more hot. But if you look at the stat lines, I mean, just based off of just the quick look at the scoreboard for map 1, the SMGs on both sides were relatively equal. Like, it wasn't too much of a stark difference. So these ARs are really going to be the playmakers here for this side as we load in Vancouver Skyline with Buckshot. Going to go ahead and see what he can do. He gets stunned up, tries to get something going for himself. TJ, though, from DC Treason, is going to be opening up with the first blood. Ooh, that's tough.
Yeah.
Well, yep.
Yeah, that was a fast round one.
That was a fast round, boys.
That was a fast round one, but you can't get too discouraged.
Nope. Can't lose the mental.
No, you can't lose the mental. You just gotta play it round by round, map by map. But DC, honestly, they can do it the same way. They might have not even had a conversation about that last map. They might be looking to go up 2-0 in the series with like just some good energy coming out of that map 1.
Yeah, basically like what Ariana Grande once said, thank you next is pretty much the mental state for DC Treason. I mean, a 100-point club is always a nice little feather in the cap to have, that's for sure. But going into it again, here we go, another round. Look, we're going to see what Vancouver Skyline can do. And in all honesty, too, you find yourself getting a round win here is going to be a really big boost to morale, too. So, obviously, keep your eyes on the bottom left of your screen. That's going to be the mini-map. Fade finds one. TJ going to be able to find some shots on one, but not able to finish the kill. AG gonna be just lying and waiting, almost like Randy Orton, the Viper striking. It's gonna be a pretty interesting situation here. It's a 2v3, make that a 2v2 as AG trying to find an opening.
Yeah, I can tell they're not too concerned. They completely forgot about Bomb for like the first 20 seconds of the map. Fade definitely had to go back and get it, but now AG left in a 1v2 against Clay and Mystic. AG chilling up top P3 window. A really good place to get some info and get some sights down. And honestly, one of these players are probably going to pop in to this P3 side and be able to get away.
Kill.
Oh!
Oh, almost gets away. Holy crap.
That tail was not tucked far enough. Yeah, that was a crazy round. Possible 1v2, but not going in the way. Just barely not able to get around that corner in time.
That would have been definitely a little bit slippery slope there for Vancouver Skyline if that player from Treason was able to get away. Let me tell you what, that would have been really, because it was an AR versus an SMG, so you pop that corner. If he was going to go on the pursuit, you probably would have gotten domed, but still 1-1 though. A nice little morale boosting round for the side of Vancouver Skyline though. We're going to see what they can do to try to come back, force a little bit of a lead change. AG gonna get some information though. You do have a double man push. He finds one, tries to get away with his life. Vancouver Skyline down a man. AG looking to try to mix things up, possibly find another one as Vancouver trying to just get as close as they can to that B objective.
Yeah, so far the search and destroy has gone back and forth. Only defensive rounds won, so I'll be curious to see who takes the first offense. And as I say that, Mystic is going to get themselves into a 1v4 situation. Looking like another clean route for our defense. As I say that, able to pick up two, but the third one pops. Third and fourth one pop out of nowhere. Be able to team up on them. I mean, you lose two, yeah, but you're able to pick up players there as well. So that's, yeah, good looks from DC being able to recognize that, hey, we should just team up on this guy. You lose two, a little bit of a nervy situation, but it ended up working out.
Oh, yeah. It definitely, it could have been going from bad to worse there, though. I mean, if Mystic was able to get those 2 kills and not take any damage and was able to reload back up, that could have been disastrous for the side of DC Treason. So kudos to them for realizing, hey, it's a 1v4. We lost 2 guys, but let's just bum rush them. And it worked out in their favor. So kudos to them.
Yeah, and again, it's going to be a battle to see who wins that first offense. Another defensive round going. I mean, yeah, offense is so important. Where this bomb pushes up. Last time I felt like DC might not have taken this bomb side serious, so they're going to get pushed up, and they're going to try to make it a little bit of ground. AG back up into this P3 window, able to fly out, possibly get 2. No, that's Nino that picks up that player. AG doing a really good job picking up mid-map presence. Knows they have a lot of support. Going to look to get the bomb down. But who's this? Number 4 arrow. You're going to see that 4 arrow moving up on the map. Mystic trying to get an angle on this player. Bomb is going to go down. But Mystic's going to hit a deep rotation. I had a feeling that AG was going to be the one to get into this gunfight.
Yeah, and you're kind of stuck on a rock in the hard place, but Mystic being able to play properly, Fade in the top window, watching the cross, gets the information. Mystic, if he gets this kill, it's going to be huge. So Fade having to play slow now with 18 seconds and counting. If you are Mystic, you got to go, but you set yourself up beautifully. If you're able to get this kill, you've got a chance. Fade getting stuck, but there's no time. Vancouver Skyline, Mystic gets the kills, but all for nothing. Are we going to see some body shots? No, we're just going to look at the camera. Looking nice, Mason. There you go.
Just staring at the camera, waving high.
Staring at the camera.
Big round. Big round. First offensive round win, and there it is. There's the gap, right? It starts to form. You got exactly what you needed from that round, and I think DC, again, looking good on the map, taking a lot of aggressive control, too, which is nice. That's what you want to see.
Yeah, and then with also that being their first offensive round, too, you could see that Fade was kind of the big difference maker there, too, just because of how he was moving along the map and everything. Being able to find the Vancouver Skyline boys was lacking a little bit, but Vancouver going to be able to get the first blood. Fade up on top. outside the window, trying to back it up. Try to regen his life a little bit here, but still DC Treason down in the defensive side. We're going to see what Vancouver Skyline can do as Treason going to go ahead and tie it all up. Oh, here comes a huge kill though from Fade. Gets one, gets two. That is not... Ooh, nice little triple there. Little triple cheese. Don't mind me thinking about McDonald's now.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you're talking about that before the broadcast even started.
Yes.
Yeah, Fade. I had a feeling the AR was going to pop off. I just want to stick on board with Fade. I feel like we haven't shown Fade enough love in the broadcast. We've pretty much been watching AG this whole time, it feels like. But Fade doing a really good job.
Huge triple. Holy mackerel.
We're actually going to stay on board with Fade because they are on a 3 streak right now.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, what is it? Is it 6 or 8 or 7? I can't remember how many kills you need for a Hellstorm, but Fade's definitely working it. Pretty good chance of getting it 2 as long as they keep playing the way that they are, but getting some information on the cross over on outer. You do have a huge rotate though coming in from number 3. Fade doesn't see it. The kill streak gets taken down, and Buckshot able to be the heartbreak kid there, ruining any chance of a streak. Up 4-2 now though for lives. TJ and Nino by their lonesome. Just still up 4-1, so it's still looking pretty good for the side of DC Treason.
Yeah, Nino and TJ looking the clutch up. TJ going to be able to give their teammate a little bit of cover fire here. Now all the info is now what Vancouver has, and Nino going to be left in a 1v4. No 1v4s just yet.
Yeah, that was you were fishing a barrel there if you're the side of DC Treason, because I mean, just the way that Vancouver Skyline, they were able to get those 2 kills, and with the flanks coming in, you know, Clay didn't even know that he was there, but once he moved away from that corner, like I said, fish in a barrel. So hopefully might be the beginning, if you're a fan of Vancouver Skyline, might be the beginning of a little bit of a mini reverse sweep, but obviously that's not out of the woods yet though. Still a huge hill to climb. It's not looking like Everest, but definitely still a very big hill, and Nino going to be whipping out the sniper. I think it's the first time we're seeing a sniper come out, so we're going to see what kind of damage can be done. That is for sure.
Swap back over to the AR, realized they weren't.
Never mind, take that back. I have it, whatever.
Yeah, had it out, thought they were going to use it, ended up going against it, but we're going to hop on board with Braid. Braid is going to be this bomb carrier. 5-5 right now, so looking pretty decent. You're at least dropping 1 KD, and as I say that, Nino gets 2 with an 8. I mean, that's so unfortunate.
Oh, wow. That was a clutch grenade if I've ever seen it, man. Holy mackerel. Wow.
Yeah, that's a wild one.
That was definitely a Kobe-style nade. R.I.P.
Right now, DC is up 1-0 on the map count, looking to go up 2-0 in the series.
For map point 2-5. So right now, Vancouver Skyline, they definitely need a hope and a prayer at this point. And don't want to go down 2-0 in the series. So AG, though, really getting aggressive with that SMG, pushing up to B. Going to be the bomb carrier himself, so looking for his teammates to watch out for him. You do have one player that's Mystic, going to be on top. Mystic still alive. Clay going to be the one getting taken down from the side of Vancouver Skyline. But DC Treason still locking it down. AG just playing a cat and mouse game. Mystic finding a kill though. So right now, if you are DC Treason, you just got to hold the line for just a quick moment. But last man standing, we're going to see what happens. Oh, he got too cocky on that.
Yeah, he got a little bit too confident. Honestly, I was kind of worried there because bomb was getting defused, and that player did pop up off of bomb. DC not able to go up 2-0 in the series yet. Looking for it, though. They really are.
The 5-3 curse.
Yeah, the 5-3 curse can be a very real one.
Yeah. You know, and I've seen some pretty crazy comebacks, though, too. I mean, just in the time I've been doing casting, there's been plenty of times where I've seen a team go from 5-0 to 6-5 for Search and Destroy. It's like I said, it's a round-by-round thing. So, Skyline Vancouver Skyline definitely, like I said, it's a huge hill, but 1-1 definitely is a lot better than 2-0 when it comes to series count. That is a guaranteed fact.
Yeah. I mean, going down 2-0 in a series is not something that you want to do. I mean, there's just a mountain to climb, you know what I mean? You go behind so deep in the game one. You go behind so deep in the search and destroy. So, I mean, if you're able to win this, you're probably able to get a little bit of confidence here. I'm going to stay on board with Corrupt. Corrupt is in a very interesting position to possibly get some info on the first player here. Ends up picking first blood. Really good first blood there from Clay. Oh, okay.
Oh my god, he almost just bit the bullet there.
Yeah, it ends up getting picked up as well. It's going to be AG. Oh, Nino and Fade actually are going to be the one going back and forth in the kill feed, taking over the middle of the map, and that is going to be your game number 2.
Oof, yeah, the bro feed definitely happened there. Pretty bad. DC Treason definitely showcasing their skills tonight here in the Legacy Showdown. But yeah, let me tell you, man, that was, you know, we did see a little bit of life from Vancouver Skyline there at moments, but ultimately it just really was a bloodbath. I mean, Vancouver, funny enough too, if you're looking at the scoreboard there, they had 5 first bloods to, you know, DC Treason's 4. So I mean, it's just one of those things that even though you were getting the first bloods, there was multiple times where DC Treason just had 1 or 2 moments where they were able to get those double kills to make up that deficit, and you could just see there the slaying capacity from the side of DC definitely overtook Vancouver Skyline there. So yeah, we're up 2-0 now. So you know, DC Treason over Vancouver Skyline. So, but yeah, what did you think of that map so far?
Yeah, I think a lot of that was what you do with info, right? I mean, Vancouver, yeah, you're getting first bloods, but when DC got info, it felt like they were a lot more competitive and fast with info. Their decision making was very quick. As soon as they knew where somebody was, eyes were on them. If you got into 1 gunfight, you got into 2. So I think they did a really good job, like stacking up bodies, making it difficult for the other team to really get a presence on the map. And yeah, we're going to go ahead and take a look at the rest of the series coming up. We're going into a den overload as we start to get the match loaded up. They're just resetting the lobby right now.
Yeah, and a big thing too is just really when it came to the pacing, you know, like DC Treason's pace just looked really on point. Like they were able to recover if they did go down 1 or 2 lives, a few of those rounds there, and just the situational awareness or map awareness in general from Vancouver was just, after getting those first bloods, typically you want to be able to read the mini map, see what happens around, you know, stuff like that. Like even after they got blooded themselves, it was just the situational awareness and the map awareness was just not in their favor. Just DC's pacing and just their awareness in general after they were able to get a first blood, it was just all DC Treason just putting the pedal to the metal there and just kind of overtook Vancouver Skyline. So going into this den overload is really going to be a big, you know, thing. We're going to see what they can do because it's all about pacing, but it's also about playing together as well. So I'm kind of interested to see if Vancouver Skyline is going to be able to lay up a potential reverse sweep by starting at this map. But don't want to get too ahead of ourselves, though. It's obviously you got to, now being in a reverse sweep situation, you got to first win maps 3 and 4.
Yeah, map 3 is going to be tough. I mean, if we see that type of decision making again with the typing slaying power that we saw in the game number 1, because I feel like Overload's a pretty healthy mix of the 2 game modes, I think this is going to be a tough game. Obviously, I never want to say it's chalked because it's not always chalked, you know. Like, but
they always say it's never chalked.
It's never chalked.
Yeah, but Den's such a good map too, and with Overload too. Like when it comes to Den, as we're loading up now, the big thing is with Den, you can easily train EMPs after EMP. Like it can get really crazy really quick. So just as much as you wanted to be offensive, you got to be playing defensively a little bit too. And so I think, yeah, the teams are a little bit flipped right now for at least the overlay purposes, but There we go. Look at that W production. Look at that.
I'm trying to do it, dude. I swear.
We take, man. But yeah, but as we're starting out, though, DC Treason still on their usual, getting a little bit more aggressive. You do have 3 members currently on streaks, so right now it is a absolute bloodbath. And yet again, DC Treason coming out swinging. What 3? Make that 4 go down, and so DC Treason just absolute obliteration. And yeah, they got to stabilize, otherwise it's going to be really not good.
Yeah,
real quick.
And look who's streaking on the map right now. Fade again with another large streak, looking to get on the board. I mean, if they cap this, I'm pretty sure they'll get the missile, and that's exactly what happens.
Yep.
Fade doing a really good job, going up 6-0 with an overload cap as well. AG, the other overload cap. I mean, right now they're doing a really good job working this map. However, I like what Fade's doing. I like what Fade's doing here. They're gonna pop that streak. They're gonna hope to get this player. It's not gonna be able to come out in time, but they're gonna try to clear those players off that side of the map. Streak, a little bit of team kill there. Fade not able to get another player into that capture zone, but is gonna finally fall for their first life. 7-1. So far, so good.
Yeah, you can't complain about that. I mean, unlike Control, where you had limited lives with Overload, you know, the only thing that's really going against you is, just like before, there's a time that you have to wait like a couple of seconds to be able to respawn, but you don't got to worry about lives like you could Control, so you can be a little bit reckless, kind of like Hardpoint, but you can see, though, TJ being a human turret, but on the move. Man, got the gunny. Oof. Oh, man. Still just working those kills, getting those necessary kills, pushing Vancouver Skyline to the back of their own spawn as DC Treason looking to score, and they do again. So, and remember, if you guys don't know, it's 2 halves, but the halfway point to get there is 4. So if DC Treason are able to score another time, it's gonna end this round, and we're gonna go into the next round. So in case if you're still learning the whole overload thing.
Yep, have to either takes over by time or score. But however, man, yeah, you just don't want to go down 4, right? It's very rare that you see in a competitive 4v4 game a team actually hit 8. So you just don't want to be that team that gets scored that much on. But we're seeing another large streak up to TJ, and as I say that, they finally get picked up. I'm going to hop on board with Mystic. Mystic with a little bit of a troubled start, 3-9, but looking to get something cooking on this side of the map. Going to push up to area. Not able to find another one there, and 3 dead again, and complete jump side control. And Nino has the device, gonna push up through server, and just gonna hop on the point. Oh no!
Oh, huge grenade from the side of Vancouver Skyline. They're able to stop the bleeding just for a moment, but AG gonna go ahead and pick up the EMP and then make the detonation and get the score going. So yeah, still 4-1. You know, I think we didn't even hit 1:30 left on time, so a relatively explosive start for DC Treason. They just, like I said, you can see here, Fade 12-4. This was one of the bigger streaks here, which actually got them I think it was right here where they got the Hellstorm a little bit shortly after, but still 12-4 to start off this overload. That is crazy work.
Yeah, no, Faye doing a really good job. After that little streak, they were able to pick up the device and then earn the streak that way. And yeah, no, this is looking rough. I mean, DC is looking to complete this 3-0 and a handshake. They're trying to just get it done and dusted and get us into the next series. But let's see if, I mean, Vancouver, you have a chance here. The chance to really make a comeback, seeing the momentum. You got to start slaying. You got to start playing as a team. I feel like the big difference is yeah, you have some players going on streaks on this DC side. However, I think it's mostly because they're working so well as a team. They're getting a lot of support from their teammates. And after this match, I'll be curious to see how many assists that these players are gaining, because if you look at like really high level Call of Duty, a lot of the times their assists are pretty much half of their kills as well. So yeah, I mean, there's such a big emphasis in team shotting, constantly keeping people weak, whether you have them stunned, like refusing to let them generate health, or you know, just keeping those players kind of back down and in an unfavorable position.
Yeah. No, and that's really the name of the game too, because especially if you're working together as a team, even if you're not able to get the kill, if you're able to get one or two and get the last two guys weak, then the people behind you, the rest of your team supporting you, you're able to clean that up relatively easily. But still, Fade going for the DoorDash type series right now. I think that says 18-5 for all of you Mass Blasters out there. That's a pretty high KD, if I should say. So right now, DC Treason, they just want to get this done. No sweat off their back, 3-0, and right now it's looking pretty much that. But the thing is that I really feel like the reason why in this particular overload that DC Treason, like what you mentioned, they're working together as a team, but Vancouver Skyline just can't get their bearings. They can't get stable. They're just kind of running like the chickens with their heads cut off is literally the best way to put it. They're not able to work together as a team because they're not able to do anything together as a team. They can't stabilize, as you can see here. So if Vancouver Skyline want to be able to have even a punter's chance in hell to try to even get a couple points on the board, they got to slow down and get these kills and then move methodically. And I don't know if we're going to see that.
That's a big win, though. You don't allow DC to get a quick cap there. Honestly, if that pistol kill rolls through. But Braid's going to push so far forward without any help from their team. Nobody there to be the initial gun. You're kind of putting your pistol player in a 1v2, and because of that, the device is going to drop over on this B side. Yeah, it's just the snappiness and how fast the decision making is. I mean, Braid has control of the device. They know they have to score fast, but they're all by themselves. Nobody there to really help them when it was time to potentially get a cap. One of the few chances they really had to get a cap by straight up outslaying the other team, and they just couldn't pull it together there. And as I say that, Nino jukes everybody out of their socks. Going to be able to get a push up. Has a chance to win one big gunfight right here. Not able to win it. Rechals it like a monster. Picks up the kill. Picks up the device cap as well. You gotta like it.
I think that might have been the final nail in the coffin, just from a statistical perspective for the side of Vancouver Skyline, because, you got a minute 30. Unless you're able to train at least 5 captures here in the next minute and 30, because I think it takes like 5 seconds for it to regen. So if you're the side of Vancouver Surge, just from a statistical perspective, it is not looking ideal. And I think DC Treason definitely decided that they are going to be the judge, jury, and executioner for the side for the Vancouver squad, as it's looking like it's going to be a pretty hot 3-0.
Dang, AG is frying right now. AG and Fade, 20-13, 21-12. Honestly, Nino, 23-14 and 23-13. That is a rough stat line to look at. I mean, all these players are going to be very much enjoying dinner tonight, knowing that their stats are padded, cushioned, and ready to go for the next series.
Yeah, they got that DoorDash win, man. So maybe these guys got some waiting for them. Who knows? But as of right now, it's going to be DC Treason. Like I said, from statistical perspective, it is an absolute bloodbath. It's stick a fork in it. It's done. There's no coming back. I think Vancouver Skyline, now you're just kind of playing for honor at this point and pride. But DC Treason with a hot, very hot 3-0 onto this Vancouver Skyline team. Day 3 here in the Legacy Showdown.
Yeah, that's some wild stats being put up here in this game. A lot of overload caps, 3 seconds left. Obviously, it's all done and dusted. They're going to be warming up their guns and continuing that. And yeah, that was a crazy one.
I feel like the kind of reaction I'm having right now to that overload and just the series in general, I mean, as morbid as it sounds, it's like watching a car crash. It's like, oh, it sucks, but it's interesting. You know what I mean? Like, it's one of those series that the belt to ass is so strong that you're just like, oh, it's like you see a mom disciplining their kid in the cereal aisle at Walmart. Like, you can't help but look, but you feel so bad for that kid. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how else to put it, but that was a BTA if I've ever seen it.
Yeah, that was a wild series. Like, what do you got to take back here now if you're Vancouver? Vancouver kind of just needs to, go back to the drawing board, right? I mean, it's super early in the season, plenty of time to make adjustments. It's not again, it's not chalked, like, but if you're gonna have a series like that, like, I don't know, it's you got to make sure you lock that down.
Yeah, it's definitely going back to the drawing board, that's for sure. But as you guys can see on the screen here, 250 to 94 in the Scar Hardpoint, all DC Treason there. The Search and Destroy, Vancouver Skyline were able to come back towards the end with a couple of round wins, but ultimately was in favor of DC Treason. And as you guys saw, the bare knuckle beatdown that ended up happening on that overload, DC Treason again coming out swinging. But who would you say, if you had to pick anybody for an MVP on the side of the winning side, DC Treason, who would you feel would probably get it?
I think Fade had a lot of presence on the map, and when we looked at the hardpoint, Fade also had a lot of the time as well. I think overall, as a player, Fade probably was the most impact on the map. That's a hard one. AG also did really well in the Search and Destroy, taking, I think the big point there is, again, the map control. They had a really big presence in that P3 window, but I think Fade and the respawns was just kind of undeniable. Earning streaks for your team, getting a lot of stops, just being annoying on the map. I mean, a 1.71 in the overload and a 1.67 overall KD, that's wild.
That's crazy. That is such a crazy, absolute insane KD, for a series. So yeah, like Fade was absolutely he was running a Fade as his namesake on the side of Vancouver Skyline. But yeah, I mean, just in the hard point alone, had a 1.64 KD, like for hard points specifically. So I mean, it's just one of those things that sometimes certain players at certain times get hot, go off, and all the next thing you know, you're winning a 3-0 in a DoorDash fashion on main stage. So definitely kudos to DC Treason and the guys over there with the W. So beautiful stuff.
And it looks like we are going to get an interview tonight. We're going to get TJ coming in, and yeah, I'm excited to talk to some of these players, man, and just get the reaction from it. TJ, you here?
Yo, what's good?
How's it going?
What's up, man?
It's going good, man. Feeling good. Had a nice little 3-0, 100-point club, 7-1 on the overload, so we're feeling good, man. We're feeling really good.
Yeah, that was a fun series to watch, man. Not specifically from it being close, but just how well you guys were able to play aggressive. I mean, your guys' communication must be, like, on point. I feel like anytime somebody got into a gunfight, a second player was there, like a third player was there. There was a really good example of like the 1v4, right? Potential 1v4. They picked up a 2-piece, but you guys were so overwhelming that like that 2-piece didn't feel like making up ground. How is your guys' chemistry going in game right now?
I felt really good. I'm actually a little surprised because we usually play with Kizzle as our fourth, and Fade's kind of just stepping in as a sub, and he actually stepped up quite well. So I think Fade played really, really good. The comms were still on point even with the substitute. And I think that just kind of like really shows just how dominant the DC team is. So no, it felt really good today, even with the sub. So I can't complain, man.
Yeah, it was fun to watch. Yeah, Fade was getting a lot of ground on the map, allowing you guys to be able to push up and really do your work. Do you have a favorite map in the game or a favorite map in that series that you want to highlight or?
Not necessarily. I think we didn't really get to play it. I think I'll keep that as like a little secret for our team and vetoes moving forward. But
Ooh, smart.
but yeah, I think like honestly, like we've been trying to scrim a lot, trying to get like knowledge on every map. Like me personally, I think like I really enjoy like Den HP or honestly, I just really enjoy like a lot of the maps in this game. There's a couple that I think will be taken out eventually, but for the most part, I think like maps in this game compared to some of the most recent CODs is like really strong. So can't complain.
No, I would agree with that. Like for me personally, I'd have to say my favorite. We were just talking about before, Den, probably my go-to, but ultimately, I guess, I know it might be a little bit of a hot topic question, but what's your personal opinion of the Vancouver Skyline team? Like, how do you guys, even though you're playing with a sub, how do you guys feel you performed overall? Like, do you feel like it was just child's play, or do you feel like there might have been challenging points at times, Not to put you on the spot or anything.
Yeah, I mean, no worry. Like all love to Vancouver. I know like they're all good players individually. But yeah, I mean, as you saw from like the score line today, it seemed pretty easy for the most part as a team. But yeah, I can't say the same for the full league. I mean, actually, I would say like every team's pretty good, but yeah, there's a couple teams out there that talk a lot of shit that probably shouldn't be. So excited to kind of progress through the schedule. Vancouver stays kind of quiet, so no hate towards them, but there's definitely some teams in the league that are yapping that shouldn't be, and I'm excited to play them moving forward.
Heck yeah, that's what I like to hear.
Well, awesome, man. We'll let you go back and celebrate the win with your team. Nice 3-0. It was fun to watch. I hope you guys have. Okay, I got a message from production. Name the team,
Yeah.
dude. Who's talking trash? What's
You know,
going on here?
Actually,
Call 'em
like
out.
everyone is a good team, man. Like I don't know. Actually, no, fuck that. You know, LA Rumble, you guys are fucking dog shit, man. Like I can't wait to play those kids, dude. Let's who else? Shanks is always making tier lists, so
The
can't wait to
gloves
shoot
are
that
off.
guy's body. Like everyone, there's a lot of yappers, bro. So yeah, excited to play LA Rumble, Colorado. There's only a couple teams that I think on our radar that we're kind of worried about, like DC or not sorry, Omet. They look really good, and Ohio as well. But yeah, so excited for some of those more like higher tier teams and what we'll do against them and how it actually looks. So yeah, excited for it.
All right. Well, you gave
Hell yeah.
management a lot of smiles with that answer. So, now we'll let you go. Now we'll let you go celebrate with your
LA
team.
fumble, bro.
LA fumble.
We've seen
Yeah,
it, bro,
hey,
but no, yeah, excited to just continue playing the season. But yeah, again, GG's to Vancouver. They're not one of the guys that are kind of yapping in the chat all the time. So excited for it, man.
Hell yeah. Well, good best of luck in as the league progresses. And yeah, like I said, as long as you guys keep up that momentum and keep everything up, definitely could see you guys in the potential top 3. So keep her at it, keep her moving, and go and have some fun, pop some champagne or some Coca-Cola, whatever you guys want to do. But go celebrate your victory, man.
All right, appreciate it. And Luke G, love you, baby. Have a good one, guys.
Have a good one.